of you want to try some and get behind the mic, get some voice direction, and or use your own scripts, let's try that out, okay? First of all, does anybody here have any experience in voicing? Any stuff? Yeah.
I joined a fan project once.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that?
We were trying to make a continuation of the Spectacular Spider-Man from 2008 because we were sad that it got cut off.
Yes.
And we just love that show so much, Spectacular Spider-Man, and I got cast as Sally Averill.
Okay. And how was that experience?
It was interesting. I had to get into the head of the character.
Uh-huh.
Sally, I feel like most people perceive the character as very selfish, narcissistic, very more like an NPC, low key, but I tried to get into the head of the character and was like, oh, this character Sally seems to be protective of another character named Liz, and maybe I could get into that because I have motherly tendencies too.
Great. See, and that's great. That's taking a cerebral approach, and that's awesome. You got to get into the mindset, which is great, like the head, like you said, but you also have to embody their physical attributes to shape the sound, because it's not just this and this that makes the sound, it's everything. If I'm doing a Dr. Scholl's commercial, here's my microphone, I'm not going to go, what a lovely day for a walk in the park. No, I'm going to do this. What a lovely day for a walk in the park, because you can hear me walking, right? I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. All these sort of sounds, right? That this organic sack of meat that runs off electricity and dreams makes, right? That all goes into it. So that's great. Anybody else have any experience? Yes, with voicing.
I have experience working on radio, mostly.
Broadcast.
Yes.
Also voice work. How did you like that? Because no one does.
Yeah, me neither. It was fun. I think it taught me a lot of trying to get your voice in a certain place in
Yes.
a certain area. And it was very interesting because when I first started, I didn't know how to get in the mindset, and it took me a while to finally get there.
And it's just a format.
Yeah.
It's all a format. And broadcast is nothing but format. That's why there's no creativity whatsoever. It's just get it out. And we'll talk about that from both sides, technical and the voicing side. Now, we've talked about voices. Does anyone else have any experience in voicing? No? Does anybody have any experience in the audio engineering or the technical side? Does anybody do any producing? Go ahead, sir. What do you got?
Well, a long time ago, I've been a director, so I've directed voice actors, but I also used to be a portable sound effects editor at Nelvana a very, very long time ago.
And what kind of machines were you working on back then? The big?
Yeah, they were sizable.
They were sizable reels?
Actually, yeah, I started on reels on a flatbed, and while I was there, it graduated through sound designer into Pro Tools while I was there.
Incredible.
A little while ago.
Incredible. Yeah, it's the technology and everything has changed and advanced so much. In fact, right now, David and I are both wearing lav mics. We're wearing lav mics right now that are plugged into that iPad there and are picking us up. And those things have a range of 5 or 6 blocks. So, and we use these all the time. And I use those for an audition where I put 2 of them on a ruler, and I walked into a closet where it was quiet, and I was able to record in left and right and on wave, and I sent it in, and I booked a part. So you don't have to be chained to a studio anymore as well. So animation has changed. How do you think it's changed for the better or for the worse or both? From a technical standpoint.
Well, from a technical standpoint, things can happen much more quickly, of course.
Bingo.
Because when we were cutting on film and tape, the rush job, was roughly a week. And then when it finally went completely over to Pro Tools, the rush job was then a day,
Yes.
24-hour day.
Yeah.
So on one hand, there's a lot of speed, and then on the other hand, I think there's the greater potentiality for burnout with the speed at which it's possible to work, particularly in television projects.
Yeah, and there's burnout on both sides.
Yeah.
Believe me, but mostly I'm just saying Dave will touch on that. Because I've had to edit a few things and I just self-tapes or productions, audiobooks, it's just like, my God. So let's just go into it. And then we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves, and then we'll go right into the little lesson, and then we'll go give it a shot.
And you guys are live on that camera right there.
This guy.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
great.
Live on YouTube right now.
Okay, live YouTube. My name's Christian Potenza, and as some of you know, because you grew up listening to my voice, it's always just been this voice. I do other voices, but this is the one they like the most. All because of one thing. This. We laugh. We laugh. Humans laugh. When you find any character, when you give any character, even if it's one that you've created or one that you're auditioning for, to create that character, you base everything around the laugh of the character. It brings it to life. For instance, the line is, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Listen to this. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. I put it at the front, in the middle, and at the end. Now, hear it without it. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. It just sounds like mine. It sounds like it's edited. But that laugh is what bases everything around the character. So, I created a laugh for commercials because I was a classically trained, actor. I went to George Brown. I got into National, Humber, George Brown, Douglas, any theater school I applied for back in the 90s, because I'm 51 years old. But how many 51-year-olds do you know that sound like this? Mom, you're embarrassing me. I sound like a kid, but I'm 51. And all because of that laugh, right? I created that for commercials, and it blew up. Then I started doing radio commercials, and they said, hey, we want the laugh in there. Can you give us the laugh? So then it went into advertising voice. Then it went into animation. Then that's here. Then they were like, can you do anything else but that? And I was like, I can, but you only hear my voice, right? How many of you can hear Jude, Chris, and Trevor just in my natural voice, right? Because I didn't always sound like this. But because of those shows and working on them, it's kind of shaped my voice into what it is. I don't always sound like this, especially moving to Hamilton. I got pretty Canucky after a while with the out in the boots, right? Now there's the North American standards out and about. But I've been doing this for a while. And I didn't know I'd be doing it. And it was right around 2010, in between 2010 and 2013, things changed for me because I got involved with Make-A-Wish Foundation 2 times, and 2 of those kids passed away. And their last wishes was to hang out with me. One kid was going to die. Shut off maps, please. There we go. So these kids, one kid was going to die right before the launch of a new season. So I read the entire script of how it ended to them, and I was like, "How is this happening? Why is this happening?" And I realized that your voice as an actor is it's not about you. It's about those people that are. Can I ask you to not type so loud? Right. What's that? Oh, is it? Okay, great. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Thank you. So, as you see, ADHD, superpowers, I'm picking that up like it's going right in my ear, right? So, these kids, they wanted to spend their last time with me because when you're sick, when you're hurting, you watch cartoons. I've been there. That's why I watch cartoons. And so my voice was with them, and I didn't realize that. And then when I started doing Comic-Cons and conventions, I realized that most and majority of my audience was on the spectrum as well. I see you. I see you. I feel you. And they would all say the same thing. I want to be a voice actor just like you. And I was like, well, do it. And they're like, well, I can't because no one will let me. And I was like, I don't like that. So let's change that. So I started up a group called the Freedom Forgers, where I work with neurodivergent, disabled people that have a voice and love cartoons. And we make cartoons. They have agents, they have demo reels, and we've had a documentary made about us. And that's what I do now, as well as still doing cartoons and movies, but I'm taking a break from sort of voice because after a while you hit the low glass ceiling and you get overexposed and they don't want to see. And plus there's new voices, there's new Christian Potenzas, there's new blah, blah, blah coming out. And the style has changed quite a bit. And now I'm producing a lot more because that's the season I'm in. Am I still voicing? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But it's changed. It's changed quite a bit because I'm in a different season. So that's what I've been doing. And also, I'm helping people get into voice work. I work with animators, young and upcoming animators that need some help and some guidance. I build studios for people. That all happened because of COVID. COVID shaped our industry tremendously. So that's where I'm at right now, and making people, realize that they have a talent that is the same amount or if not greater than mine. And if I don't let you know that, then my talent doesn't mean anything. They're always looking for new faces and new voices in the industry. And right now, you guys are the new shape and face of how things are going to go. And because the technology has changed so much, I lean on you guys to show me how it's done from your side, and then I show you how we do it, and then we're rocking and rolling now. So the industry has changed a lot. It used to be we'd show up and show off, and that was it. But then during COVID, something happened because they shut down all the studios. We couldn't go in, and every actor that was not, that was union. Well, we didn't have our own studios. We didn't have our own microphones because we go to this big studios. But when they shut down, something happened. When we shut down the world, the advertising had to be pulled off. Because if you were advertising on that weekend where we shut down the world, if you're like, this weekend, the brand unit, it's just like, nope. But they had to give out COVID-19 responses. And none of the actors that do all the union gigs had microphones. So they went to all these non-union people and sort of frontline workers. And it went from this. You and a friend can enjoy 2 blueberry muffins for $1.99 at Tim Hortons. Always got time for Tim Hortons. To this, we here at Tim Hortons care. We cared before, and we'll care again. Because you've had time for Tim Hortons. We've got time for you. And it was a woman that may have had a Filipino or an East Indian accent. Because I was a frontline worker and it was mom. And then the sound changed. It changed. And then they're like, if you're an actor at home, like Total Drama and Fresh TV, they gave me a Neumann TLM 103. You're recording from home. The Neumann TLM 103 is the microphone we use for all cartoons and radio. Look it up. That's the one you want. And for those of you that want to record yours on a, record your show, if we're working together and you want help to voice it, we will record it on that microphone because that's the one we use. Yes, you have a question.
Sorry, I was just asking, is TLM is a type of microphone?
TLM 103, the Neumann TLM 103 is a type of microphone. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a little razor. It's small. I was like, that's it? Yeah, it's got a big diaphragm. But anyways, everything shaped and all of the recordings were done at home and voice work shot up because when we had to be isolated, right? Voice work, it's based in isolation. And we as recording artists know something. We use silence as our base ingredient. We use silence for dramatic effect, and we use it for comedic effect. How can it be both with no sound? Because anything above 0 decibels is a recorded sound. Anyways, that all changed because now they gave us Source Connect, which connects us to all the studios, which usually, back in the day, I remember when I was doing promos for Cartoon Network Australia, Cartoon Network UK, Cartoon Network Italy, right? I had to do all the promos for Total Drama, and I'm being patched in, and they were charging people $3,000 to patch us in. But when COVID hit, everyone got the stuff right in their home. And this is where people like David come in, okay? And the audio engineers come in, and everyone, like the voice actors, had to become a little more tech savvy. So, as you know, I've been doing this for a while, and I've seen it. Back in the day, because when we were recording, it was still on tape. In the 90s, it was still on tape when we were doing stuff. And those flatbeds that he was talking about, they were the size of these things, and they just had reels on them, and the things up there, and it's not like it is today, not fast at all. So, as actors, it's changed quite a bit. The style has changed. Everything's gone sort of non-union. All the commercials are non-union, and some of the non-union cartoons, they're crazy good. Crazy good. And they can all be done on these things, even with motion capture. You can do mocap on these things. And plug in your microphones, your USB microphones, or go through an interface that plugs into here. And you can record on WAVE, which is the highest recorded format. And you've got all the skins for your motion capture stuff. You can make cartoons. I'm making cartoons with neurodivergent disabled people that I can go live with. Animation, right? So everything's changed. It's the Wild West, but it gives you guys a bigger opportunity. And they don't want stuff that sounds main stage. They want new and different. So now I'll pass it over to Dave because pay attention to this stuff and pay attention to what he says because everyone takes these lords of the board for granted. But those button guys, they're the guys that make it happen. The actors or, voice it sounds all cool. We get all the glory, we get the fans and stuff like that. But without these guys, nothing. So, ladies and gentlemen, David Whalen.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave. Nice to meet you. I started off basically loving drum and bass music and learning how to make music when I was about 15 with like the first guitars and first samplers, and I got a job when I was about 15 with a big studio. I was learning how to do live mixing on a giant board in a big studio from a guy named Spike Sound, and he was a legend back in the day with rock band. So I learned how to mix rock, and at the same time I brought them how to use MIDI. So like all of a sudden I was teaching them how to use break beats and cut a beat, and they were teaching me how to like a live drummer and how to work a big board. And that was still just me as a 15-year-old like intern in the studio. And then at the same time, I always made sure I had my own studios because I was always had a passion for making music. So I'd sit up in somebody's basement or wherever I could, and always just try to find out music all the time. Wherever I could, whoever would, I would do it with, you know. And then I moved on from there to having my own studios with a couple of people. And I was working on beats the whole time, and just really loud and crazy stuff. And at the same time, the building that I was in was a place on Soho Street and Queen Street, and it housed a big editing company that was doing all the big commercials and everything called Comfort Sound. So they were right across the hall, and every time they walked by my door, like there was crazy beats and loud bass lines. And so they knocked on my door one time, and they're like, "Hey, can you teach us how to do that? Because we need that for commercials." So all of a sudden, I got this job at Comfort Sound, which is a massive production thing. And it set me up in the studio, and I was in there making commercials in the day, and then at nighttime I'd be making music. And then while I was in there as well, my mom knew a lady named Ann Tate, and Ann Tate was the one who created Anne of Green Gables and all these big CBC plays. And so this show, she had just written a brand new play and called Yates in Love, and it was at UT's theater, and it was like 10 minutes before the show was going to start, and the sound stopped working, and I got a call from my mom who knew Ann Tate, and she's like, "Can you get to this UT theater in like 10 minutes and fix it?" And I was on my bike, I was a kid, right? So I'm like, cool, I got my bike down, run into the theater, go up, patch it in, fix it up, show starts, show is successful. She's like, "How can I thank you?" I'm like, "Well, I kind of need a job better than the job at Comfort Sound." And so she's like, "All right, cool, leave it with me." And I'm in my studio the next day, making beats again, and phone rings, and it was the boss of Characters Talent Agency, which is the biggest agency in Canada. And I didn't know.
And the best.
And that's Christian's agency. So he called me. He's like, this guy named Larry Goldhart. He's like, "Hey, my son's the engineer at this place, but he's going to be becoming an agent. Do you want to take it over? Can you come in tomorrow for an audition or for an interview?" And so I came in a big oversized suit because I wasn't used to wearing suits, and got the job. And I was in the deep end right there from day one. All these people from LA who were professional actors, and so I was set up with having to do the auditions for everything TV, film, and radio every day in 5-minute intervals with all the best actors. And I only had to do the next guy, the next guy. And so I learned how to direct really fast. And if I got it wrong, the agents would come down on me because their talent was so talented that their time, even that 5 minutes, was like super precious. So I learned how to direct, and I kept the job for like 20 years. So I was there from 1998 all the way through. And I was making beats the whole time, and really successful at the same time at nighttime. So dual production, both in the professional realm and in the nighttime making beats and drum tracks and stuff. So that moved on forward. And as I was there, I was learning I was meeting all the people, and they were all directors as well and making their own movies. So I started getting in and making soundtracks with them. And in the building that I was in, there was other people that were involved, other agents, and some of them were placement agents. So I started taking my music and bringing it to placement agents, and these guys place your music in movies. So I'm like, "Hey, here's an album of happy stuff, of sad stuff," and I base it on emotion, like folders of emotion, right? So I'm like, if you have a scene or a movie that's like sad, put this in, and happy, put this in. So I started placing my music in movies. So all of a sudden I got movie credits going on, and at the same time I'm at the agency and I'm still making beats. So it was really cool. So all of a sudden I had all these movie credits going on. And I started, getting music in big films with like Samuel L. Jackson and different Netflix shows. And then I finally got to the point that, then one day I got a call from the agent that I worked for, and she's like, "We got a brand new talent. His name's Christian Potenza." And I'm like, "Holy shit, Christian Potenza!" and like they're like, "We're sending him down to you right now because we have." Basically, what's happened is he was really good at what he did, and then it became almost a directions. Can you sound like this guy? And they kind of squeezed, instead of asking for Christian, they were asking for people who sound like Christian. So Christian himself was getting squeezed out of his own gig because everybody wanted that laugh, but they didn't want to hire Christian anymore because they couldn't afford Christian because he's A-list, and they wanted somebody else in his place. So the poor guy was getting replaced. So they came to me saying that his sound was kind of not happening anymore. Can you rebuild this guy? So I was like, cool, okay. So we got together and I rebuilt the sound, and from there we decided to start working together, and we started this whole new thing where we've been doing voice demos for people and production for people for the last since about 2016, and then we started running studios together. We had a studio going with I'm Mother Earth and Our Lady Peace, where we were in there at the same time, producing a whole bunch of people's demos and actually doing a bunch of soundtracks for government work and just on and on with the production. So then I jumped ship from characters, talent agency, and I went to Corus, and I became a network engineer at Corus. So I basically was a senior network engineer. And I was doing everything in between the commercials on Q107 and 902, and global and AM640, and like just nonstop production, right? It was like
Broadcast.
There were times he came to my office and like the whole floor was scripts everywhere, and they were all due like the next day, as you know, and I had to get through them, and these are all due on the radio, like ASMT the next day, as soon as you get them done. So, overall that period of time, I learned how to edit really quickly and use a bunch of different tools, but in the end, it's always the same thing, really. It's about, getting from the talent what you're looking for and reading the direction properly, and so it really just migrated into a point now where now we're working on working neurodivergent and disabled people, and we're bringing this whole new aspect to life where we're animating shows with them, Barnabas, and creating a brand new format of edutainment. And so that's a real short version of what I've done. But anybody have any questions for us?
Yeah, the thing is give it up to David. Because the whole reason we're here is because of David, because like I said, like David mentioned, they didn't want to hear me anymore because it was all they were done, and I had to reinvent my sound, but I didn't know how to do that. I've even walked into audition. There was one guy at Pirate Radio. He's like, "Do you know who Christian Potenza is?" And I was like, and I just looked at him.
They're asking for him.
Yeah, he didn't know it was me because I didn't sound like me.
For somebody that sounds like him.
I walked into it, and the director, and he even said, "Think Christian Potenza." I like Christian Potenza. It was all because when I walked into the characters, because I took some time off. I was like, F this. I was just doing conventions, and I was hanging out with fans. I wasn't voice acting. That's where I became a parody of myself, and I said, I'm done. So I found it very hard to switch it up. I didn't know how do you stop being you, and that's all you were known for, and that's all what you thought voice acting was for years. Millions of fans around the world, a lot of money too. You know what I mean? And you're just like, wow, it's always, and then it just stopped, sort of peeled off. And I struggled for a long time because I didn't have to have a voice demo. I was working all the time. I was Christian Potenza. What's up? I needed a demo because I took some time off and I needed to change my way I did something. And my agent, voice agent, Donna Trimble, said, you got to get a microphone, a USB microphone, and start working at home. So I didn't know what to do with it. It just sat there. I think I hung t-shirts on it, or I took a lot of pictures for Facebook next to me and my new microphone. Never used it, right? Like most actors. And that showed up, and because my agent was like, if you don't get me that demo, you haven't sent me anything with your microphone or anything, I'm just going to take you off the roster. I was like, well. So then I show up, and David's there, and he goes, I'm nervous, I'm scared, and I'm like, my whole career is hanging in the balance. And I never paid attention to these audio engineer guys. I was like, whatever, it was all about me. And then he goes, hey man, you can tell I was a little nervous, and I was, he goes, hey man, I just want to say I'm a really big fan. Because he was told, make it good, make this guy good. David, the audio engineers are great. And he goes, really big fan, I just want to say that, And I was like, hey, cool, thanks. And then I started doing this stuff. He's like, you know what, don't yell so much. Because everything to me was total drama, because that's what I was doing at the time. And Chris McLean, they actually turned down the game. When I'm doing him, he sounds like he's talking like this, but really, I'm like, hey, I'm yelling. Sorry about that. I told you it's gonna get weird. And I was yelling because he always talked like this, and I developed back problems. He goes, don't, just come in closer and remember this. Who are you? Who are you talking to? And where are you? And I just went like, record scratch, skip. What did you just say? And I've been doing this for like years, and I was doing fine. I just haven't done it in a while, and I didn't care to do it, but I had to. And he goes, who are you? Who are you talking to? And where are you? And I was like, and to my learning disabled ADHD mind, everything made sense in that little triangle. And I was like, how did you just change my, and then we just hit it. And I was like, great, I learned a format. And then after that, I said, Dave, I'm doing something right now. I'm making demos for people. I'm teaching them how to do it. And then he said, I said, will you do this with me? He goes, okay. And then, can I use that? Or
We're gonna erase
great.
this.
And then I said, I'm doing a thing, I'm making demos. I think you and I, with what you just did with me, I think we can do something really special here for other people to make it simple and also line our pockets with a lot of money. And at that time, I started teaching people in a new way on their own equipment in a studio that is known. It was a big studio. It's called Tattoo. It's over on Queen Street. And they were known for recording. I did a lot of commercials there. They had a lot of workshops. Kim Herden was working out of there. A lot of people, big people were working, but we were taking over. And then we got a big contract from DaCosta Talent, who's an agency, and they had 4 kids on Magic School Bus that first year it came out. Each one of those kids was making $250,000 each. That was $1 million worth of 15% commission off $1 million. And they realized that people, especially kids, will make a lot of money before they're 20, so they can pay for their post-secondary education and their first home. So David and I got a contract to make a bunch of demos for people, and we made a format of how we do it. And so we're going to give you guys a quick little rundown of how to do it, so that when you are casting or working on your own projects, whether you're casting for another voice and you're voice directing them, or whether it's you or whether it's your friends, if you follow this format, this is what every voice actor and voice talent takes when they make their demos with us. So if you want, you can draw these down. I have all of my teaching totems tattooed on my arms because I am like the indigenous people, the original storytellers. Did another button fall off for real? Where did that guy come from? Sweet. Like the indigenous people, they would tell their stories through orally, and they would gather around the totem poles, and each animal was like an Akashic record or a library of so many stories, but they would tell it all through their voice. And that's how they would shape the moral compass and educate and communicate. They didn't write anything down. But I'm going to ask you guys, if you write it down, what I'm showing you, and I'll just give a simple example up here. If you write it down, your brain will trick you into thinking it was your idea, and that's how you learn faster. If you don't want to write it down, that's fine. I'm sure this is live, so you can watch this again. But, pay attention to this. I'm going to go by real fast. And if anyone wants to talk to me later or talk to David, we would gladly take a Zoom, hook it up with Barney, and we'll run a workshop on how to do it. Okay? Even after. So what I'm going to do is, if you have separate pieces of paper, great. If you just want to watch it, great. If you want to just keep them all on one piece of paper or two, there's a bunch of symbols that I'm going to write or draw and explain real fast. And then there's a bunch of, and then there's like the 5 fingers of self-direction and the totem pole of success. So the first thing that we're going to get to, and this is all based off of what he said to me. And if you guys look at the back of, this is Lynn Zeleny, by the way, and that is Boris Spiroff over here. They work with us. We have a little production company, and they work with the Freedom Forgers. But if you look at the back of Lynn's sweater here, this was the first company that David and I started, called Switchboard Sessions. And it says, who are you and who are you talking to? That was our motto. Because that's essentially, sorry, Boris, that's essentially what voice acting comes down to. But there's many more things to give it shape. The first one is, this is the first symbol that I'm going to give you. And these symbols will look like a PlayStation controller. This is the character cross. Okay? It's a character cross. It's a plus sign. Or like a rose compass, north, south, east, west, right? The rose compass is a very old symbol, and there's a lot of sacred geometry and numerology within that, and we use it for a lot of things. Because what does a director give you? Directions. What do you think a rose compass is? And why do sailors have a tattoo of a rose compass on their arm? Anyone? So they can always find their way home. Little pirate fact there. So now, this is called the character cross. And on the North Star is your hero. On the south side is your villain. On the west side is your sidekick. And on the east side is your mentor. These are the archetypes of humanity. And in the middle is your wild card. That's you, or neutral. Everyone has these in us. This is what society is made up of. These 4 archetypes of characters. Your hero, your villain, your sidekick, and your mentor. A hero is, in this context, is not some caped alien that shoots lasers out of their eyes and can throw buses. No, a hero just wants to save the day. Here, let me get that for you. Here you go. How much do they owe? It's on me. See that? Hero. They just want to save the day. A villain is not a bad person. They're not evil. A villain just has something to prove. They were there first. But somebody, probably a hero, came by and said, hey, that's not right. And the villain's like, what are you talking about? Let me tell you something. Right? A villain just has something to prove. But a villain can also be good. I'll show you, Dad. Okay, Coach, I'm going to show you. I'm the number one, I'll show you. Like, you still have something to prove. That still makes you a villain. That's it. A sidekick isn't some worker, some servant, some lackey that's just going to do what you say at any whim. No, a sidekick just wants to help. Sure, you can borrow my lawnmower. Yeah, I can help you move. Yeah, you can borrow my car. Sure. You see? Very simple. And a mentor is not some life coach, guru, swami, professor. No, a mentor just wants to teach. Excuse me, sir, can you tell me how to get to Elm Street? Sure, where are you coming from? Oh, okay, what you want to do is you want to go down here 2 blocks, take a right by the purple dented mailbox, don't ask. Walk for another 2 blocks and you'll see the elm. Got that? I do. Great. See, very simple. And the wild card is a sum of all those things. It doesn't matter. You can just go wild. But those are the 4 archetypes of humanity. Now, they all have different sounds. I'll take the line from a lemonade recipe. The line is, take 3 lemons, slice and squeeze. The hero. Take 3 lemons, slice and squeeze. Ha ha ha. Villain. Take 3 lemons, slice and squeeze. Sidekick. Well, take 3 lemons, slice them and I'll squeeze them. Mentor. If one has lemons, one must slice. Then and only then may you squeeze. So you see, but that's character work. What happens if I use my own voice? Well, I'll sound like a hero. Here's me doing the hero, villain, sidekick, mentor with the same line, but I'm just making a switch in my head and maybe my body, right? Hero. Take 3 lemons, slice and squeeze. Take 3 lemons, slice, squeeze. Well, first you take your lemons, then you slice them, and heck, why not? I'll squeeze them. First you want to take your lemons, then you're going to slice, then of course you squeeze. Copy? And then wild card, whatever. So you see, you can really change it up, and you can create a library. But you have to decide first of all, in your cast, in your little animation, or big animation, whatever, your animation, who's the hero, who's the villain, who's the psychic, who's the mentor. They all have different attributes, but we'll talk about that later. But you get the gist. Anybody have any questions about the character cross before we move on? No? Great. So now, as you can see, it's open-ended, and you can braid and cross and braid and mix and finger paint with character all day long, and it's open-ended. But if you encapsulate that with sound, if I was to close that in and just keep it nice and tight with some tone, I would get a diamond. So the next shape, and I've had to learn how to draw a diamond properly. So you do a V and then an upside down thing. When I try to draw a diamond in one go, it always goes weird. But this is called the tone diamond. And this is something that the voice director, like when you get a character synopsis, you will get all this background information about your hero, your villain, your sidekick, your mentor, your wild card. But then they'll give tone. You'll see these words in here that I'm about to show you, that the director will give you directions, and it's in the actual breakdown, and it's also used in the booth, okay, on the day. And there are 4 points of tone, and your demo should reflect this, or your range of you as a voice talent should direct it. Up top, we have fast-paced, high energy, friendly, and excited. Fast-paced, high energy, friendly, and excited. And then put a star beside excited and friendly, because you see those terms come up a lot. Down below, we have slow-paced, low energy, serious, and flat/monotone. You will never hear a true voice director say, can you make it a little more monotone? I've heard it a lot because I'm older now. And sometimes I'm getting voice directed by somebody your age. And I'm like, and they're like, hey, cool, Christian, that was really great. Can you make this one a little more monotone? And I'm like, yes, but you're an idiot. There's no such thing as monotone in an acting sense. It's a technical term. Stereo, monotone. It just means one channel. But you will see this in breakdowns where they say this show is monotone in nature or globally, which means it's flat. As a performer, you go, that's just flat. And I'll give examples of all of these. So below or up top, recap, fast-paced, high energy, friendly, and excited. Down below, slow pace, low energy, serious, and flat/monotone. Over here to the west side, right? On the left coast, everything is laid back, easygoing, relaxed, casual. Okay? Laid back, easygoing, relaxed, casual. And then over here, on this side, we're going to fly from the west coast, and we're going to come back here to Toronto, on the east side, where everything is corporate, industrial, format, and our favorite, broadcast, or announcer/host. And you'll see all those breakdowns that say, this is a non-traditional broadcast format, this is a industrial. So they give you all this information. So just to recap, fast-paced, high energy, friendly, excited. Slow-paced, low energy, serious, flat/monotone. Laid back, easygoing, relaxed, casual. Industrial, commercial, corporate. Announcer/host. Okay, broadcast. And then, of course, wild card. Now, what you do is you've taken your character and you decide whether you've got your lines, and you're testing it out. You got your lines, you decide, is this a hero, villain, sidekick, mentor? Then you bring it over here, and then you pick your two. This is while you're trying to find the character, all using that lovely laugh I told you about. And then you come over here, And then you try it. A little fast-paced high energy, slow pace, relaxed, broadcast announcer host. But I'm going to show you, give you examples, okay? This is mostly for commercial. This is for animation, right? Animation and commercial. And then for commercial, or the tone diamond, I'll give you some examples. Up top, the line is, welcome to awesome.ca, okay? Welcome to awesome.ca. 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 Or PSAs. Welcome to awesome.ca. Right? You've heard all of these. Hey, welcome to awesome.ca. 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 Now remember, those are caricatures. Everybody is naturally in one pocket of this tone diamond. Who knows what pocket I'm in? Just by a show of hands. Am I friendly and excited? Am I serious, low energy, flat? Am I laid back, easygoing, casual? Or am I broadcast announcer host? Anyone? Yeah.
Announcer.
Announcer? Okay. Anyone else? Yes?
Laid back.
Nailed it. That's my category. I'm in the laid back, easygoing, casual. I'm in the casual thing. They will say, looking for a non-traditional or casual host. That's me. So what do I sound like now with all of these? Well, here we go. In my natural voice, instead of being a caricature. Welcome to awesome.ca. Welcome to awesome. Welcome to awesome.ca. Welcome to awesome.ca. Hey, welcome to awesome.ca. That's one you heard a lot, right? And then hear my announcer. Welcome to awesome.ca. Welcome to awesome.ca. So you see it's still there, but I'm using my own range. Not trying to be something I'm not, because it doesn't sound good. Now, you put the character cross and you put the tone diamond together, and then you do the David Whalen special, and then you do the key to communication right here. This is that mighty triangle I was talking about that changed my life within seconds, and now it's changing many other people's lives. So this is the key to communication. And there's a W on each one, and it is, who are you? Who are you talking to? And where are you? Now, the reason why this is so important, because in every script, before every scene, they have a little heading that says interior or exterior. Then they give the place, and then they say day or night. Because even this place sounds different at 6 in the morning as it does noon, as it does 6 at night, as it does midnight. It all sounds different because of the time of day, because humans are like that. So it gives you really what it comes down to. Who are you? Who are you talking to? And where are you? Because nobody says, hey everyone, the radio commercials are on. Let's listen. Hey everyone, this 2-hour podcast with interests that pertain to my needs are on. Let's all listen. No, it's when you're alone. That's who we talk to. I don't go broadcast and go, this weekend at the Brick. No, I'm like, hey, have you ever just wanted to get away? And then that person drives like, yes, well now you can at blah, blah, blah. You see, because there's a conversation that we're having with somebody that we don't know about. And that all comes down to who are you talking to, and where are you? When David told me that, because he'll talk a little bit about his experience, but he's done every big time voice actor, famous voice actors who are losing their minds because they can't get it, trying to nail something. You don't see that. David can tell you about all the tears and frustration and how many times we quit a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Even the internal sabotage. Like back in the early days, like people used to come in physically before the internet, and they would all be in a big waiting room, and they'd all be incredibly amazing actors, but they'd all be trying to get the same job. So they'd always try to like. And I didn't know this because I'm in the studio, and I had to go into this room every 5 minutes and call the next guy in the sheet, right? So I'm checking off one guy at a time. I didn't realize inside the room they're talking to each other, they're sabotaging each other, they're
Trying to knock each other
they're
out.
oh,
get
you're
their
gonna
head
do it like that? Well, no, I'm gonna do it like this. You go ahead and do that because I'm gonna do this way. And they start messing with each other's minds, and you wouldn't know it because I'm the engineer and I'm the director too, and like I'm separated by a door or two, so I wouldn't know what's going on inside the waiting room, right? So the internal world of it was something I was never aware of. But when they were in there with me, it was always the same thing. You know, it was always trying to work with them, squeeze the best potential in the little time they had. And it was weird because the first guy who started, I always felt bad for them because they would show me their style of how to do it, and then I would have 15 more amazing people do it. And by the time I got to the last guy, I had heard it every single way possible, and I had all these little side notes for the last guy. I'd be like, don't forget to laugh on this part. Pause right here at the end. Give me this smile. Like, you know, little tricks that you pick up on the way from the first guy. So it was a bit unfair how like the first people had to pave the way, and the rest of them they could. I remember what that would be like. You know what good things were, and I'd give it to the next person. In the end, my job was to make sure somebody at my agency got the job. Didn't matter who it was, but as long as one of my people got the job. So really, I was absorbing it all and spitting it back out, and whoever could get it back to me would get the job. So in the end, I wasn't, you know, too precious about what somebody gave me as much as like what I could get from each person. And in the end, as long as we got the gig, the agency still gets a cut and they keep going. So that was my perspective as a director. But as an actor, each thing you do is precious, right? And that's your one thing, right? And so there were these trade-offs to it. But in the end, I learned really quickly what people are looking for, what the directions mean, how to squeeze things from people who really couldn't give it to me, how to get things from a 5-year-old who really doesn't even know why they're even there. You know? And I'm talking line by line, point by point, syllable by syllable, until you get it. And you don't have much time to do it. And then that becomes easy after a while, because as long as everybody's moving in the same direction, there's no static, you know. So
you know, I kind of equivalent it to those Sears photographers with the children. They got the puppets out, they do stuff. It's like an audio engineer. Oh, hi, little actor guy with your blah. And then he's like, okay, what we're going to do, this guy will get you. All audio engineers will get you there fast because they know deadlines and they know how to hit telemark landings and just get the sound bites because they can manipulate it later. But that's a lot of work on the buttons guy. Mm-hmm. They got better things to do. So that's why we're going to make their life easier. But please listen to them. And also, when you get there, the audio engineer is going to size you up and measure the mic, get it, ask you how you're doing, and they're the ones that are going to get levels. You look to them because when they have a cutoff button, don't pay attention to anybody because every voice actor is like this. This is the booth. You guys are there. And we're like, blah, 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 blah. How'd I do? Are they laughing? No, there's nothing happening? Weird. That was cool. Why are they not laughing? I go, oh my God, they're going to fire me. And don't look at them and don't pay attention to them because you'll see this. And you're thinking, oh my God, they hate me. No, they're like, you put pecans on my salad. You know I'm allergic to pecans. I'm going to die if I have this. You know what? Fuck it. They're talking about something else. You lock eyes with buttons here because they're the ones that have if they're talking, they'll be like, hold on a sec. They're just da-da-da. And you just go copy that. You just lock eyes with them. They're your link to everything. Okay? Because when they shut off the mic back there, they're not talking about you. They're talking about other things. But you as the insecure little actor. So listen to these guys. Even if they're like, can you get, because even the voice directors will sound like Dungeon Master. Just cryptic notes. I even had one like this. This was it. you're giving me this, and I want this. And I was all like, oh my God, I hate you so much. Total drama. The first week of, like the first couple of episodes of Total Drama, I hadn't even seen my character yet. I hadn't even seen a design. I haven't seen anything. We're just going for it. And I'm like, no, it's not right. I was like, and I'm getting in fights with the voice director because she's like, why don't you do it like this? Ba, 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 ba. And I go, ba, 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 ba. And she's all like looking at me, and I'm all like, well, that's not a direction. And you see, that's why the form of communication, if the more that you can do on your own rather than being spoon-fed, will help you, especially now these days when you got to do it all yourself. You just got to know an audio engineer, right?
Yeah. Now
And
it's,
follow
now
this
it's not even
format.
as easy. Like now it's everybody does it at home. There's no waiting room anymore. There's no actual interaction with other actors. You're at home, you audition at home, you send it back to your agent. You don't know who else auditioned, you don't know anything else except for what they gave you. That's it. It goes on and a loop until you finally get a gig 100 things later, 100 auditions later. And like as an actor, your only job is to audition.
That's it. Wait, can you repeat that again, David?
As an actor, your only job is just to audition. That's it.
Straight up.
That's your main thing.
And if you're good at your job, you'll get more of an opportunity to showcase more of your talent in the demographic that you're in. Okay? And that demographic is based on your age, sex, and race. Your age changes, you can change your sex, but you can't so much change your race. Because now, if it's an Asian actor that is a character, the character has to be Asian. You don't identify with that? What do you mean? You don't identify with that's the way if the character is Asian, if the character is written as Asian, that they have to be Asian? Is that what don't you identify with? Asian? With what? What's that? Yes, I know, but the character on, let's say, this children's show, if the character is Asian, the character playing it must be Asian.
You can't just have a white guy doing like an Asian voice. That's
Yeah.
like a no good,
Or
no go.
East Indian or Caucasian, it doesn't matter. We have many black friends that play white people all the
In
time.
other words, like if I was to try to imitate another race, that would not be okay.
Even if you sounded Canadian,
You have to be
English,
authentic.
no
with the
accent,
race. So you have to have
but the
authenticity.
actual character has to
So
be.
it used to be back in the day that actors would imitate certain races and it would be really sounding like that, and now that's completely not acceptable. So if you can only cast people in the races they should be, and you can't like imitate yourself sounding like a black guy or imitate yourself sounding and then use that in the cartoon.
How about this?
That's never gonna work.
If the character is disabled, then they have to use a disabled character.
Yeah.
Or a disabled actor. It's called representation. It's called fair. You can't give an able-bodied person, even if it's for voice now, they've changed the rules. So that's why I was just telling you what it is. I wasn't pointing you specifically. I was just making a point. Okay. And that's how the industry works. Okay. If the character is East Indian, if the character is black, if the character is Caucasian, on the design, then the actor playing it has to be like that. Yes.
I've seen Asian voice actors voice like white characters.
Absolutely, but it can't go the other way around. White people can't be doing Jamaican accents and East Indian accents anymore. Okay, I do those accents only to keep my tongue sharp, but it's behind closed doors.
Oh.
Because certain accents, they make your muscles work differently. So I'm constantly doing an East Indian accent because I love that accent. I wish I kind of had that accent. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. But I do it because it shapes my tongue and it gets me ready for other accents. South African is a mixture of all accents. I can't do it. If I do an Australian accent, I go gay German fast on that. It just smears because I can't keep it up, right? It always ends up something like this at the end. I was like, what is that? Because I'm not trained, but accents are tricky. That's a different thing that we'll get to in a second here. But if you use these three things, you put them together. You take your hero, right? So let's say you take your hero, villain, psychic, mentor, and then you come over here and you try. If you're trying to find a character or a sound, you pick your character. Then you run the diamond. You try it different ways. Then you pick it. You come over here, and then you run the scene, whether it's a made-up scene or the one in the script. And you know who you are, you know who you're talking to, and you know where you are. And once you put it in that context and you do like a theater of the mind thing, because that booth that you're in is not a 4x4 booth. It is Narnia. It is a battlefield. It's a classroom. It's a courtroom. It's wherever it says it is. And you have to play to that room or that environment and talk to the people in it as if you were right there. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you the 5 fingers of self-direction, okay? 5 fingers of self-direction. These things just keep drying up. So the 5 fingers of self-direction, F, are this. So let's say you've run a scene, right? You just ran a scene and you did a pass and you've got to just, you think about it. You've recorded it. But before you listen to it back, you got to think to yourself, what did I notice about my past? It could be anything. I noticed that I was speaking a little too fast and I had trouble reading some of the words. What did I like about my past? I like that the responses or I like how it's written or whatever. It could be anything. What didn't I like? Just list one thing. Don't start hacking yourself apart. Putting in seeds of doubt in any part of the creative process or building is so ridiculous. Okay? What did I notice? What did I like? What didn't I like? And the fourth one is, what am I going to change the next time I do a pass? Well, I think I want to slow down the pacing, so I'm going to breathe. By the way, every time you see punctuation, whether it's a period, question mark, exclamation mark, anything, as voice actors, because we read text like sheet music, we don't actually read. I'm looking at pictures in my head, and they're just symbols. It's like a musician doesn't read music. They train their body to act to it, to manipulate the instrument. So I look at text like that, and when you see any punctuation, it's a chance to breathe and a change in thought. So just breathe there. And these guys, they'll play with that breath. So don't speed through. It's hard to animate when you talk too fast. You can't animate that. Okay? I mean, if you just sort of mumblecore and you don't do anything, you're flat, you can't animate that either. That's why when you hit punctuation, breathe. And it's a change in thought, your next one. So reposition, especially when you get quotes. What if you're the narrator? And then the little girl said, I don't want to go to the bar today. And then they went home. You see what I mean? We don't record it like that, but you still have to change your mindset, okay? That's a different type of narration. So the 5 fingers of self-direction are, what did I notice about my past? What did I like about my past? What didn't I like about my past? What am I going to change the next time I do it? And how am I going to make those changes? List them off and just speak them out loud and record yourself so you can listen to it. Then, as soon as you do that, you've reprogrammed yourself. Now do another pass. That's called self-direction because they're not going to be there all the time. The voice director, especially you guys doing your own stuff, this is where you finger paint. This is where you work it out, away from everyone else. And then, if you follow the totem pole of success, everyone knows what a totem pole is, right? It's a story, right? And it's stacked. It starts with some animals, sort of land-bearing animals, and then right up to the eagle or bird on top, right? Because they're in the sky. And the totem pole of success is this: show up. Just show up. Say your words. Take direction. Don't be a dick and leave. That's it. This is harder to do than anything, is the totem pole of success. And I wish I would have figured this out earlier in my career. show up, say your words, take direction, don't be a dick, and leave. So by showing up, that means you show up. Even if you're recording at home, you show up a half an hour early. Turn on your microphones. Guys, every time I go to record any one of your cartoons that you've heard, they turn on those microphones an hour before anyone gets there. These guys turn it up, and those microphones, there's a such thing as a cold microphone. It's like a stethoscope. You know when doctors are going on the stethoscope or they rub it? It's to warm it up. Filament, which is what the diaphragm is on a microphone, needs to be warm. Otherwise, it's a cold mic. It won't pick stuff up. So they leave it on for an hour or 2 hours before, and it just gets room tone. Because remember, every room and every space in your cartoons all have different room tones, all have different sounds that these guys are in charge of. We don't see that because we think it's all about us. So show up a half an hour early prepared, because they've already prepared for you to make you sound good. So you prepare. Show up stretched. So remember, don't eat dairy. Do not eat dairy before you record. You will be froggy and okay? And don't be on social media. Leave it a half an hour before. Just gone, okay? Nothing. Show up blank as a baby's mind, neutral. Say your words. Say the words that are on the script. Don't try to rewrite it. Don't try to put your own agenda in it unless they ask you. My whole career is based on, what are you going to say, man? That's awesome, because I can do that. But I earned that because I can do that. Don't think you can do that. They will give you a recording. They'll give, okay, we got it. One for client or one for the internet, one for, and then they'll go, you know what, for the hell of it, just do it your way. That's when you pull out your wild cards and do it. Show up, say your words. Take direction. What does that mean? That means don't be thinking of what you're doing, what you're going to do when the voice director is telling you what to do next because you missed the mark. Take direction. Listen. I can't tell you how many times I've been voice directing and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And then I just go, watch this to the client. So I think that in the next pass, if we chainsaw dirt bike, purple monkey dishwasher, we'll be good. Okay? And they're like, great. And I was like, and they're like, they didn't even listen. I go, I know, because they're thinking what they're doing. I've done that. I do that a lot of times. I'm like, sorry. And I turn to the booth and I go, can you repeat that? Because I was too busy thinking about myself and what I was going to do. And then we all laugh, and guess what never happens again? Me going out. So take direction, listen. Then the voice director will go, do you have any questions? That's when you ask questions if you didn't understand. If you don't know how a word's pronounced, ask. Ask, please ask. What's the proper pronunciation? Don't pretend to know. Because they don't know either. Most of the time they're like, good question. We all go to Google. We all ask Siri, how do you pronounce it properly, okay? Or what's the meaning of? Because you don't know. And it shows up on the other thing. Don't be a dick. There's many, many ways to do that. One of them is by turning to your fellow actor and go, why don't you try it like this? Don't. Only the voice director talks to your other actors. Okay? Don't hang around after you're done. Hey, am I going to get a copy of this? So, what's up next? Just get out. Just go. Just go. But don't. Just listen. Remain quiet. And don't push any of your... And also by saying no. If a director goes, hey, can you do a Scottish accent? You're like, no. Well, maybe they didn't want you to do a Scottish accent. Maybe they just wanted you to sound like you're struggling through it or you had an inner ear infection. You just go, I'll try. That's the best answer. If they ask you if you can do anything or can you try it like this, go, I'll try. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't want you to nail it. We're always going fishing on a fishing trip until we get it in the pocket, they'll call it. Now we're in the pocket. So play ball. Don't say no. That's being a dick. And then just leave, okay? Just leave. Thank you, everyone. I had a great day. Bye. Go, because they have they're probably behind anyway, right? They're probably behind anyway, so go. Just get out. Because if you can follow that totem pole of success, they'll keep calling you back again and again and again. Okay. So there it is. You have your character cross, your tone diamond, your key to communication, the 5 fingers of self-direction, and then the totem pole of success. When you're working on your stuff, figure out hero, read your character. Don't define them right away. Try reading it as a hero, villain, sidekick, mentor, and then a wild card. Cool. Pick 2 of your favorites, then bring it over here to the diamond. Then, I asked people, I was like, oh, you're going to do your villain? How are you going to do it? They're like, oh, I'm going to do it like low and like deep. I was like, why would you do that? That's a double negative. No. It's already at the bottom. Why don't you do like a casual villain? A casual villain? I don't get it. And I was like, obviously you haven't seen Heath Ledger's Joker. Why so serious? Right? Casual as all get out. And they're like, oh. And I go, yeah. Because he's an actor and he studied this and he worked out his character in the same format. I'm just making it simple for you. So you got your character, you've tried it out, you figured out your favorite 2 or 1. Then you bring it over here, you figure out, oh, your favorite sort of where you're going to go with it. Then you bring it over here and you make it real. You lock it in. Well, my character is this, and I'm talking to that, and we are in a place, and then you try it now. And then, after you do it a couple of times, then you go to the 5 fingers of self-direction. What did I notice? What did I like? What did I take? And then you do it again. And by the end of it, you're good. Now, that's a fast way of thinking about it. I do that at the speed of thought now. But when you're starting out, especially for those of you in 3rd year that are doing your end of the year projects, especially if you have dialogue, this is a great exercise. And you can just record it on this, put it in the middle, and I'll leave you with some stuff. Actually, we'll do this now before we wrap this part out. But that is it, basically. If you run that session or that sort of schematic, you are going to be in very good shape. Very, very good shape.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave you guys right now. David and I are going to give you for those of you that have Apple products, there's a recording software that we use called Voice Record Pro 7. It's for free. You can pay for it if you want, but don't. I've been using this since 13, and they've changed now. But Voice Record Pro 7 allows you to plug in a USB microphone into your device, whichever it's a phone or whatever, and you can record in WAV. And you can send an MP3 and stuff like that, but I send in self-tapes. You've heard, I've even ended up sending stuff when I was doing a Disney film called Bunks out in Winnipeg. I was also the voice of Coco the Fido dog at the same time, and I was way up north, and that's where I learned about these USB mics. But I recorded it on Voice Record Pro 7 in the back of a U-Haul in northern Manitoba on an island in a camp. It was just like in the back of a U. It was just incredible. Off of a USB microphone that went into my phone, sent it to these guys. The next day, it's on TV and the radio. So Voice Record Pro 7, and if you guys want later, we can show you how to use them all, okay? For those of you that have, or Ferrite, Ferrite. Ferrite's good because you can record 2 tracks at once, okay? So you can do dialogue. And there's many more, and there's a bunch of apps and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, Voice Record Pro 7 and Ferrite are the best. For those of you that have Androids, get an Apple, because this whole industry runs on Apple, okay? I'm just being completely honest. It makes things a lot easier for everybody involved. But if you're going to use an Android, then Voice Record Pro. It was the one before Voice Record Pro 7. So that's it from my side. David, do you have anything you want to leave me with?
No, I just wondered if anybody had any questions about engineering or directing. Might as well open up the floor.
I think what we'll do, you can get into questions, but maybe we'll take a big group shot.
Yeah.
And then we'll take you guys and whoever's going to go with us into the booth over there. And then we'll basically continue the live stream, but in there. So some people can come with us and everybody else can watch it live or watch it later. but we'll do a little bit with maybe PK and Varnish will record some voices for that.
Perfecto.
So questions first? Anybody? Audio engineer questions? I know that's a big question because you're like, I barely even understand the software, but questions? Thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said you use a mic that connects to the USB. Does it matter if the quality is not as good? Does not matter in any way?
Well, no, the audio engineer can take care of that, and even with Voice Recorder Pro 7, you can change that. You can record it with, and you can, if you have a good studio setting, your decibels, you can absolutely. Guys, hold on a sec. I'm just answering this question, and you can go directly into your device, or you can go in through an interface, right? And I use a tube mixer. I use an analog tube mixer that's really small. So it's analog, so it sounds amazing.
I've only heard like when I worked on radio, like they were like, no, if you don't have like top mics, I'm sorry, we don't need that. Thank you so much.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's broadcast. We don't want to work there anyway. You know what? Guys, just so you know, if you are interested in getting a really good microphone for your whole career, there's a microphone called the Samson Q9U, and right now at Long and McQuaid they're on sale for $199, and they stopped making them. So I would go now and get this.
Buy 20 of them.
Buy 20 of them. Yeah, because they're usually, when I first bought mine, it was close to $500, and now they're $2 something. But Long and McQuaid is selling them for $199, which is unheard of. Samson, Samson Q9U. Okay, group shoddy. Shoddy.
Yeah. Let's do it maybe in the hallway. Room. Maybe over here. Okay, we're gonna do a group shot with everybody. So maybe let's gather right in here. Pack this deep full of human meat. So gather in a pile right here, and we'll throw Christian on top.
So are we going up there?
No, in here.
Not in here.
Oh, this way.
Big pile, you guys on in?
Yeah.
I just
You jump in the pile. Jump into the middle of the pile. We're just gonna do a demo, but this is basically over for those guys there.
What happened?
Okay, guys, ready? 3, 2, 1. Stay where you are, please. Did you want to get into? Hurry.
Where were you guys at the planning of this? Oh, wait, we have a vote. Come on, get in.
Okay. Okay, guys, ready? 3, 2, 1. Smile, cheese. Yay. What kind more?
Blue cheese.
Good cheese is good.
Cheddar.
Cheddar. Good. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so let's go to the sound room with PK and Varnish, and maybe Claw Merchants. What's that?
You hate coup d'etat.
There's no dialogue, is there?
Yeah.
Is there?
I was like,
Well, we could.
Have a few minutes
What's
to
that?
talk about Ion then?
At the end, yeah. I talked to Steve, so at the very end, yes. Yeah, I'll post it on Discord. Into the sound room. Where can I put this? Probably here. Hello.
are we all supposed? Is everyone from the team supposed to be here?
Whoever can fit.
Okay.
We're gonna go whoever can fit.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Wait, what are you doing? I'm just editing this period. Oh, I thought you meant we were editing a thing, and I was like, well,
I'm gonna go get those guys.
Why were you awake at 4 a.m.? That's the real question.
voice. I forgot.
Oh,
What time it was.
Also, we're gonna run out of time for this.
Discord, you stinker.
I went to bed.
I went to bed, Rana.
No, you can wake up in spirit.
It's fair. I want to sleep.
It's okay, Hannah. You can always be a +1. So we're doing like voice acting? Yeah, we're doing like voice acting. +2.
What if we convince them to hire?
I'm
We're like Matthew Mercer. We just need you for 30 seconds.
Who would even play? We go Matthew Mercer. We went from Brennan Lee Mulligan to Matthew Mercer.
Fine.
I
Let's
want
Erica
Erica
is done better.
as Miss Expo, please.
Yo, I just realized the expo markers got like just like
I would be willing to
Yeah.
settle down.
What is the lore? I
Secretly
would be like
siblings.
That's true. She was
She's smart, dude. She's a tattooed on her. Yo, oh my god. What is the lore? It's really Katie. Yo,
Toxic Yuri.
Toxic Yuri. Oh my god. This is not a coincidence. This is really.
I need you to have like sexual tension with your relationship.
You need to have so much sexual tension.
I need to hear like you mean like I need to hear that. Otherwise, no one.
Sometimes, occasionally.
What are you referencing?
I was the left one. You guys see that?
I know. Watch it all your
No problem.
Make your own cartoon. Love it.
All right, come to the front here, you guys. Okay, so we're just gonna do a bit of a run through.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna get my holiday bologna out.
I'll take that for you.
So David, we're gonna stick you in the booth here.
I have a
We need this.
Take a couple bites.
Yeah, no, that's.
I think it's sausage.
What?
I think that's what I'm saying. Take some bites.
Okay. So come to the front. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna just do a little demo on how you guys can record voices in here. Some do's and don'ts. I know I kind of went over how these things are set up the other day. I recorded a video, but now we have a voice actor and a legit audio engineer. So that is kind of a delightful thing too. So this is mic 1. This is mic 2 over here. A little short. No bounce back. We'll get somebody who's doing a voice on one cartoon. Yeah. Okay. So come forward.
Wait, are we blinds? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know what we're doing. It's okay. Here's iPad.
Great. Here.
I'm
So then here.
sacrificing you, Helen.
Which
I'm
mic do
also
you?
sorry
which
for
mic-
sacrificing you.
Which mic would you like to use?
You doing 2 mics? 2 mics?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hmm?
I said I'm fine with whatever.
Let's go here because this is more really what it's like right here.
Yeah.
Come on, let's put your iPad here. Okay. Now you will have to take your mask off, okay? Here, I'm just gonna come out.
You can mute the music and stuff if you don't want that in there. Whatever you want, David.
Pick up from any. Yeah.
Not my triangle. Not my concrete buttons.
Thank you. Okay, so now I'm gonna size you up. Okay, guys, the position of the microphone, you want the diaphragm in the position. Is that as high as it goes?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I see. It's on a little Comes-a-Deech thing here.
You got a lucky go.
I'm going to use this for now because I don't. Let's see. So the microphone, guys, the diaphragm, you want it to be between your nose and your chin. It's called your mouth. Everyone's like, hey, I don't know what to do. Just make sure that this diaphragm here, right in the middle, is between your nose and your chin. So let's size you up. Okay. Boom. Like that. I'm going to move this in right there. And then David's going to get levels once I do this. So guys, don't touch your microphone when you're in a booth. Let the audio engineer do it because it's their equipment. They know what they're doing. So I'm going to get this here, right on you. And I'm going to come down just a tad because you're going to be looking down. Okay, just like that. And this is a pop filter. Because of your plosives, it'll blow the sound out. Okay, you can see that. And if you go come saw, you get the full page. There you go. Is that the page you're on?
Yeah.
Great. So now David is going to get some levels. Okay, you're going to do it, and then what he's doing is he's getting the levels so that you're not peaking or wrecking a thing. And so if you're yelling, then he'll turn down the game. But now, before you guys step in there as actors, keep your feet shoulder distance apart with a little flex in the knees and a little movement in the hips. The female sound comes from the hips. The male sound comes from the shoulders, okay? You use both of them. So if you keep it loose and just, and if your character, what character are you playing?
I'm playing like a tired boss.
A tired boss. Okay, so she's playing a tired boss. So what are some of the attributes of being tired? Slouching, right? So that's a good thing. So, and then leaning to one side, which will change everything that I said about starting in neutral, keeping, feet shoulder distance apart. So she's playing a tired boss, which means she's going to slouch a bit and maybe put one hand on your hip and talk with the other one, because we talk with our hands, right? It really shapes the sound. If you have flat arms, you're going to sound flat, but a tired boss may sound flat. So what we do in this case, we never cross our arms because that shortens our breath. But for this thing, you might want to do this and just sort of lean over. Okay, so let's get you in position there.
Two.
And do we have headphones, or are we just going in live here?
I got one set, but it's on David right now.
Okay, he'll use it. You don't need them? I'm just going to check it out. Check. 1, 2. And David, there's I get a little bit of volume. Check. 1, 2. So it's coming out of one ear and it's a little echoey, but.
It's okay. You know what? You're only going to use your mic for now.
No, here, let's try it and see if you want to use the headphones or just go natural.
I don't want to wear that one.
Great. There you go.
Two different types of mics.
Yeah, we're on this guy over here.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some levels first. This is the first thing that we do just to see the scene so that the audio engineer keeps it in the pocket. So this says interior battle bus day, montage accompanied by voiceover. The battle bus flies over the open ocean approaching the tip. Miss Expo, that's your playing? Right away, dramatic. Agent Chisel, tip the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. So it's dramatic. But just because it's saying flies over the open ocean, she doesn't have to match that because this is the voiceover. It's just dramatic. So let's get what level that is, and then we're going to see it appear. All right, so do it. Read these. Well, leave at least what's left for us, or you are our last hope.
Okay, so read it there.
Let's do one whole pass.
Okay.
We'll call that one whole pass. Let's go
Okay.
there. No hands in the pockets.
Yeah.
Talk like an Italian. Okay. All right. So when David says, "Okay, give me a pass," I want you to go for it.
Okay. Do you guys want any visuals or background or anything? Or just straight?
Pardon me?
Are we playing off the visuals?
No, this is like over the garden wall. It has nothing to do with it at all.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just lines.
Right. Okay, so pay no attention to the visual.
Okay.
Okay. Because I don't know how to turn that off. All right, stand by. Let's get a shot. Roll.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies.
Cut for 1 second. Look at the distance you are from the microphone. That
Yeah.
microphone,
Level's low.
he's turning up the gain to get you. So I want you to
go
lean
further.
right in
Okay.
to
Alright.
this. Do we have another? Oh, hey now, check it. There we go.
Okay.
We'll keep this off to the side a bit,
Okay.
and
So
then
speak
you.
more into the mic.
Yes.
Okay.
And there you go. A little bit closer. Yeah.
There?
Like, yeah. No, I just mean you are a little
Oh,
bit closer.
okay.
Don't lean in.
Okay.
Make sure you're comfortable.
Okay.
Okay. Keep those hands up. Dramatic, right? Agent Chisel. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's try it again.
Okay, 1 sec. 3.
Hold on. Sorry, David.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's rolling.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Cut. So what we're gonna do? Let's try it one more time, and I want you to use your head because they were just hanging and you were pushing, which was great. But now, when you don't, when you do, you go Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen, right? And use that and just go for it. And would you read this as a hero, a villain, a sidekick, or a mentor?
I'd say mentor.
Mentor. So
Yeah.
then let's get into mentor mind. What does a mentor sound like to you?
I don't hope you want to be.
Right. So let's go. How's your British accent?
I can
Try. You
Okay.
can try. Yeah. So let's try another one. Agent Chiseltip, the single most international. Do a character, not just your voice, and don't push it.
Okay.
Because you guys, you don't have to push it. You don't have to help out this microphone or this gentleman here or the person doing the buttons, the audio engineer. They're good. They're following you with a digital mop and bucket. Okay? So let's go with the character. You just concern yourself with the character. Let's try one that's a little more extravagant. And don't just rush. Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. You see what I mean? Just try some flirs. Try something cartoony and try something a little more cartoony. Hello.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
3, 2.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Great. We're still rolling. Now try one that's flat.
Flat? Okay.
Let's just try it. Let's run the diamond a little bit. That sounded like, it was dramatic, but let's try one that's like Agent Chiseltip,
Okay.
the single most international spy.
Okay.
And then that you are our last hope.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Let's bring
Yeah.
it in. Let's make it more like a voiceover, like in a world.
Like Uguay
Like Oogway. I don't know what that is.
from Kung Fu Panda when he like
Oh, Oogway!
he was like, yes.
Okay, here we
Okay,
go.
so we're
Ready?
fine, okay.
Here we go. And rolling.
Agent Chiseled, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen.
Cut. See your hands? Do
Yeah.
this. Do this.
Okay.
And can you put on a little bit of an accent?
Okay. Accent.
Yes, even if it doesn't sound quite British,
Okay.
it will sound something from not here.
Okay.
Okay. All right, here we go. Quiet on the set. Here we go. Wait till that closes. And
Agent Chiseled. Sorry.
yeah. No, that's good. Laugh it out.
It sounds like Severus Snape.
But that's exactly it. But don't kick the hose. Keep going.
Okay.
Roll the laugh and agent.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Quiet, please, guys. And rolling.
Agent Chiseled, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Now, do that one again with a little more projection, but now lose the accent, but act the same character. It's acting like this, but maybe lose the accent or thicken it up. Go
Okay.
more.
Okay.
Go more. Okay, but a little more projection.
More
Here we
projection?
go. Yeah,
Okay.
still rolling and rolling.
Agent Chiseled, the single best.
Let's start with these up
Yeah.
again. Agent Chiseltip.
Okay.
There's a bit of flourish. See?
Okay.
As soon as I do it, I don't automatically just start.
Okay.
I spend most of my day like this. And rolling.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Great. Now let's do country southern accent.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah, Agent Chiseltip. Okay, let's
Okay.
go. And don't forget to be a little. Let's go. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. And we are rolling.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Now let's throw in the laugh. Let's get the character. Let's throw in the laugh with this one.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Let's try that
Yeah,
one.
okay. Oh, keep going? Okay.
Yeah, from the beginning.
From the beginning, okay.
Yeah, and if wherever a laugh falls in, right?
Okay.
Including the Assassin's Guild. You know, whatever. Okay, let's throw it in and roll it.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope. I didn't do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I couldn't
Yeah.
find his
Can you pitch up and do like a little fairy?
Okay, I can do a little guy.
Yeah, let's see what
Okay.
this looks like, okay?
Okay.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least? You are our last hope.
Now this one, you got to throw in a laugh here, and that was more of a throaty quality.
Okay.
Then I pitched up.
Oh, pitched up.
Can you do
Okay.
like a little hi?
Hi.
Yeah, can you do one
I
like
can
that?
do
Like
one like
real
that.
cute?
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And then maybe throw in a little laugh.
Yeah, this sounds like this is early childhood education. You would say lines like this.
Save our garden.
Save
Right.
our garden.
Yeah, you know. It's like,
Agent Chiseltip.
Agent Chiseltip.
Well, but remember, let's pitch up.
Pitch up.
Yeah.
Pitch up.
Can you go higher?
I think I can go higher like that high.
well, not
Falsetto.
Okay.
But more here.
More here?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, right there.
There, big
I'm gonna
smile.
keep talking like this, otherwise I'm gonna lose it.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Rolling.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful
of us, at least. You are our last hope. Don't mess it up.
Can you slow it down? Slow it down.
Slow it down, okay?
Slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down.
Okay.
Yeah, slow it down because that was all fast and it was all sounding the same.
Okay.
But if you sort of just,
And all those, those natural things that cracked everyone up, more of that will come up, okay? All right, hit it.
Agent Chiselton, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope. Thank you.
Great. Now we're gonna do two passes. We're gonna do.
It's okay.
We're gonna do two passes.
Mhm.
Just so you guys know, anything that tips over, if you put that third leg like that, it won't tip over. So many microphones go over like that. Okay, so now let's try it in your normal voice. Just in your, because you tried it a bunch of ways, but now just keep it, because you've got to, each time you do it, you take a piece of that with you. So let's try it again, normal voice. Give me two passes. One for discovery and then come in hot. And then after, we're going to listen to it all. And then David is going to direct you into where he wants you to go. Okay, so let's do two more. But now it's your normal voice.
Okay.
And really go for it. Like, just really go wild card. There are no rules. Okay, don't hold back. And slow it down, please.
I'll slow it down.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Rolling.
Agent Chiselton, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope. Don't fuck it up.
Now, one more, one more, one more.
Agent Chiselton, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
That was really good. You're really into that one. Okay, so now we're going to listen to these, okay? And then you're going to, and then David's going to direct you and he's going to go, okay, what I want, he's going to go, okay, this is what the client wants. Like, let's say I just helped you with your self-tape, okay? This would be it. We'd send in some selects, right? So we did some stuff. We worked with the voice director. Now it's going to go to somebody else. But before we do that, we're going to review. And then David's going to come in with the real notes, right? He's going to have the real notes. And I'm going to stay out of it. But if you can't get there with him, then I'll come in because I'm there for the actor. He's there to produce produce it for those guys. So let's have a listen from your very first one. And we'll just listen to them all. And you pick which way you want to go from there. This is called playback.
Yeah. Agent Chiselton.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It sounded like Severus Snape.
But that's exactly it. But don't keep the hose. Keep going.
Okay.
Go.
Agent Chiselton, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Now, do that one again with a little more projection, but now lose the accent, but act the same character. It's something like this, but maybe lose the accent or thicken it up. Go more. Go more. Okay. With a little more projection. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Still rolling and rolling.
Agent Chiselton, the single best.
Let's start with these.
Yeah. The single Agent Chiselton, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Great. Yeah. Southern accent.
Okay. Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen.
That doesn't even sound like
A
you.
long and successful career
That's awesome.
like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Now let's throw in the laugh. Let's get the character.
We'll keep going? Okay. Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope. I'm sorry. Agent Chiselton, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least? You are our last hope.
Right here?
Yeah, right there. Okay, you.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least? You are our last hope. I'll mess it up. Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least? You are our last hope.
So now,
Agent Chiselton, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that, it garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope. Don't, Agent, don't fuck it up.
there it is. Line change.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Agent Chiselton,
Yeah.
the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
That was really good. Okay, so now, quickly, which one did you like the most? Because right now you're going to get notes, and it's probably not going to be the one that you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But which one did you like?
I like the second last one.
The second last
Yeah,
one?
and then I like the little guy voice one. But that's not what the character is.
Yeah. But see, it's just an exercise, right?
International.
Okay, what do you want it to sound like? What should the character sound like?
Kind of like epic trailer monologue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So that one, if you want to do that one,
mhm.
you don't push. Lean right into the microphone. And we'll try this one, Dave. We'll do one for discovery and come in hot. Because you're not hearing it with the headphones, so you can really just, get in there. But I want you to get right up close to that microphone. And I want you to talk like this. Because you see those little wave files? You see how it's like, it's low? It's because you were talking like this. I want you to get right in close like this and just go. Dave, can you just roll for a bit? Watch those wave files. If you go like this and you're over here, do you see how there's nothing showing up?
Yeah.
Right? But if you come in and go, I think our speakers are still on, Dave.
Yeah, no problem.
we're gonna get feedback if we get the speakers
Oh.
coming in, because it'll come in through those things, right? But you see how there's nothing there? Now I'm gonna come right in. Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies. See, I'm going right in, but I'm talking low, so I just want you to not push, but just talk nice and slowly there, because you see how David opened up the. Can we just hear that back, David? You'll hear it. So he'll turn it up, but you've got to be right up close and not push it. Okay? Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies. And if you can smile, I want you to smile just to lighten it up and get more. Because if you're like this, you get Botox and it sounds flat. You want it to be like this. And move your face. No one's going to be here. Everyone's going to be standing behind you. But when you're in there, like, we make really dumb, ugly, funny faces that we're not aware of. And sometimes when we finish a pass, we end up going, we snap to and we're like, how did I end up in this position? Right? So I want you to get right in there and do that. I saw you getting into it. So get right into it. And make those faces, okay? All right, you're going to do one for discovery and then come in hot. Okay?
Like this close?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and make sure your mouth is facing the. Do you want me to hold it for you?
No, that's okay. I'll do this. This is good. Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
rolling.
sorry.
Don't be sorry. We know you're Canadian. You do not have to prove it.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world.
Can you just stop? Hold on. Give him a little Agent Chiseltip. Give it a little more marquee instead of Agent.
Yeah.
Agent Chiseltip. The world. Then you get in it, but give it a little marquee, a little banner. Okay. All right. Here we go, and go for it. Big smile, big energy, and rolling.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Okay, take a moment. Take a moment. Now, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. Just go for it. Like, just try something new. Try something just completely off the rails.
Okay.
Okay? Do one for discovery and then just come in right away and come in hot.
Okay.
So feel this one out and then just go right away.
Okay.
Here we go. Rolling.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. You are our last hope. Oh, one more?
Yeah,
Sorry.
this one you just go for it. Go for it.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies. Including the Assassin's Guild. You are our last hope. I missed
Yeah, you know what?
lines.
Don't worry. David's gonna tell. David, do you want to tell them what to do when they give the little clap?
Oh yeah, for sure. Here's a cool tip, everybody. This will help you immensely in many ways. Okay, so if you're recording, right, like say you're the voice. In other words, if you make a mistake, do this, clap, And what'll happen is I'll see a spike, and whenever you make a mistake, I'll see these spikes along the way. And so I know that that's an edit point, even without having to play stuff back. So I can just go chop, 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 chop at all the claps, and then put it back together without even playing anything back. And your edit's done without having to listen to it. So your editing time becomes not having to listen to all the bad stuff. You just see where all the marks are, where you have to edit. So whenever you make a mistake, it releases tension, go bang, and then release the tension of the mistake. So do a clap whenever you make a mistake. That helps me, and then I'll be able to cut from that point. And it just gives me a little like breadcrumb. I call it a little way to find those mistakes without having to go and play back everything. And be like, oh, so the little marks are great. So anytime you make a mistake, a quick clap, and then it pulls you back on track.
Not only does it help out the audio engineer, but a lot of times I am recording myself and I'm not watching the wave files because I'm in the booth. So what do? I don't say, oh, sorry. Oh, shit. Rah, rah, rah. Because that's like kinking the hose. You got to keep the thing going. So like, did you guys ever watch Almost Naked Animals? Anybody? So I played Dirk Danger on there. Dirk Danger talks like this, and he has a stunting little action. So sometimes I get tongue-tied and I lose it. And then I'd be like, so the other day I was going to go, and I wouldn't go, oh man, because then I got to start all over. So if I'm doing my lines and then I screw up, I go, hey, guess what? I screwed up my line. Who writes this, Rick? Did you write this shit? Okay, here we go. Right? I call on the writer for making it hard for me. We joke, but I keep the ball in the air and I go, okay, here we go. Okay? Keep the claps going, but don't just go, and I'm doing my line and I did it again. No. If I'm doing my line and I screw up, leave some air so that the audio engineer can see, and it'll show up. And then give yourself a little bit of air because you need air to edit. That's why I'm like, breathe when you see, because you're still going really fast.
Okay.
Agent Chisel Tip, comma. Take some time because they can edit that. Okay? All right. So let's do this. Let's get one clean take because that other one was kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
So let's get one more solid take and we'll listen to that first take and then this take and then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, let's just get one more solid one. And don't forget, if you screw it up, just give it a little clap.
1 second. Just gotta get this on for you. 1 second. Okay. And, roll it.
Agent Chiseled, the single best international super spy the world has ever seen. A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies, including the Assassin's Guild. Well, what's left of us, at least. You are our last hope.
Do one with a mild British accent, exactly like that.
Okay.
Okay, here we go, rolling.
Can you do a British accent for me for
Yes,
a second?
fine.
My mind is completely blanking.
Yeah, good. That's great. That's what she just said. My mind's blank. That's great. That's welcome to being a voice actor.
Okay.
Blank as a baby's mind. Now I'm going to give it to you and you'll get into it.
Okay.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international superstar the world has ever seen.
Okay.
A long and successful career like that garners a lot of enemies.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
All right, and rolling.
Can I do a line before I to get into it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Use whatever you want to get into it.
My mind is so blank.
Well, you don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Positively, I'm sure I can accomplish it.
Yeah, that's it.
Agent Chiseltip, the single best international. Sorry.
Agent, I keep going country. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be. Don't.
I can't remember.
You know what?
All that goes into the clap. The
Okay.
sorry part means clap.
Yeah, you don't even have to. Here's the best part, guys. That southern accent, that southern thing, is a watered down British accent.
Yeah.
That's why they sound. There are parts of the Isles that sound like they're from Texas, and the Bushes are second cousins to the Stuarts, which are the Kings. So, like, you see what I mean? It's just a watered down thing. That's why you keep going country,
Yeah.
because That's what your North American ears used to. We got it. So let's listen to those. Let's listen to that first one and then the last one. And then these guys can give notes and then you can try to tweak. But that's really how it's done. It's like you try a pass and they're like, hey, let's go back and let's just tweak it. But if you want to work on characters, because that's the narrator, right, Miss Expo?
Mm-hmm.
Is she the only voice?
There's two voices. So she's like the boss, and then there's like a super spy lady that's like Chiseltip. Isn't Chiseltip is like the
Okay.
other voice character. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they got to be separated.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they have to be.
So I think we're gonna wrap up what we're having here, so then these guys can go on break.
Okay.
We'll go eat Whoppers, and then we'll have the exam for these guys.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Wow.
Great. What time is it? Oh, yeah. Hey, I thought you did a really good job. Let's give it up for our voice actors for being super brave and wicked. That was really fantastic.
So now anybody watching this later can see the different techniques that we're doing, and then they can put it in their own voice acting and their own recording and engineering and dream sequences.
Yes. And if anyone wants a little like a Zoom meeting just of how to do it, we're always there for you.
Always there for you.
Always there for you.
Yeah, and enjoyable. Like it's like fun for us.
Do you want to give any notes right now?
Yeah, David.
Yeah, just the biggest note is always keep your levels between 6 and 12 dB, because you never know when someone's going to get too loud and peak out. Peaking out is not the end of the world. Keep your takes even if they peak out, because there's tools these days that can bring it back to life. So you don't have to worry, even if it was like an incredible performance, but oh my God, there was one little peak. It's unusable. It's usable, trust me, it's very usable. You can even turn it down. There's tools that new stuff, the AI stuff that can analyze distortion or peaks and then bring it back to normal. And it's called Isotope Ozone. Isotope has a suite of things. One's called RX. This company called Isotope. Anyway, always keep your stuff unless you really hate it and it was distorted beyond recognition. But great job today with everybody's performance and effort. I thought you did a great job. You dialed in several accents there that were really hard to find at the moment, so well done for keeping on your toes and doing that. And again, we're open to any questions you might have. Always just keep your levels between 6 and 12. Remember not to arm 2 tracks at once unless you're recording 2 mics, or else you'll just be getting some kind of ghost noises in the background. That's about it. But yeah, for more tight questions or anything, get a hold of us. We're always there for you.
And there's 2 ways to do your scene or your animation because you have 2 voices. One of them's voiceover, but they actually talk at one point in the same room. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it so that you're live off the floor and you're interacting because you're both there, but that does require an audio engineer to switch tracks and make sure everything's good. Or you can do everybody line by line, okay? There's 2 ways, but we'll help you out, figure that stuff out. Good job, everybody.
Good job, team. Thank you. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
End.